See, let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you guys something. If you don't believe or you don't acknowledge the fact that black society needs to separate from the dominant white society and we need our own reparations, this channel's not for you. This video, click off right now. Now, I've always been an advocate on black separatism for years. Okay? And for those who oppose that, right, you have to understand the mindset of someone like an Anthony Mackie, someone like a Terry Crews, right? You got to understand that their mental psyche in terms of the advancement of black society, like I said, separating from the dominant white society and getting reparations. That is the ultimate thing to annihilate white supremacy. Okay? So you got to understand their mindset. Not only got to understand the mindset of white supremacists, you got to understand the mindset of black people who demean and undermine the advancement of black society, right? And so people like Anthony Mackie, people like Terry Crews, they say outlandish things. I'm not surprised by that. They've been indoctrinated. They have been what you would call, they have been so trenched in Hollywood, Jew-owned Hollywood, which is basically another form of white supremacy, that they have been completely entrenched and controlled by Hollywood. They don't want to, they don't want to make sure, they don't want their paycheck to stop having direct deposits. That's the thing about it. So here's the thing, family. Anthony Mackie just did a recent interview on Variety Actors Interview, and he says something about Black Panthers. Okay, they talk about various topics, but of course the one that stands out the most is the one I want to talk about, and the one that you guys clicked on in the title of this video, right? So I'm going to read that quote, what he said about that, okay? So he was talking about Black Panthers and the fact that I'll read the quote to you real quick once I find it. Let me see here. Sorry about that, family. Okay, so here's the quote. I had to find it real quick. All right, so it says, the Marvel actor then commented on his thoughts about Black Panther's mostly black production team, saying, quote, but then when you do Black Panther, you have a black director, a black producer, you have a black costume designer, you have a black stunt choreographer, and I'm like, that's more racist than anything else. Because if you can hire the black people for the black movie, are you saying they're not good enough when you are mostly a white cast? End quote. Are they not good enough when you have mostly a white cast? All right, so his thought process is, if black people who have a movie, which of course the studio, Marvel Studios, is owned by white people, they're the ones that said, see, when you have people who create laws, right? We don't create laws. Black people don't create laws, rules, or regulations. The dominant white society does. So we were allowed to have an all-black cast for Black Panthers. We were allowed that. They gave us that right. So that in itself is another form of white supremacy. They regulated and allowed, they gave us a budget, right? They gave us a budget, and they allowed us to cast majority black production team for Black Panthers. So you have someone from Anthony Mackie who has that mindset by saying, are you saying they're not good enough when you mostly have a white cast? Right? So he's saying that the black, if you have a mostly white cast and you're trying to hire black people on the film, which you see all the time in movies, of course, right? You see mostly white cast and sprinkles of black people, less than a handful of black people, production team, actors in the movie. So he basically trying to do what you call reverse racism, right? And there's no such thing. There's no such thing as reverse racism. That is a complete oxymoron. Okay, we don't have any power. We don't have any influence. We don't have any we don't have any. We don't own or control any infrastructure. So how can you have racism when you have no power or control over anything in terms of black society? We don't have any power or control over anything. We are only positioned to name call, and that's what you call racist. And that's name calling. That's it. And anybody can be a racist. But practicing systemic racism is a completely different thing. That is the fabric of white supremacy. Right? And so you go back in history, right? And I'm going to leave it off with this. You go back in history, and I'm going to reference something I just saw, which is pretty cool. This was regarding Wilmington, North Carolina, and the elections of 1898, where basically the town at that time, of course, is a white supremacist town. They overthrown the government. Okay? The dominant white society in 1898 overthrown the government because they did not want to have integration with black society in terms of politics. They did not want to have a fusion with black people at the time in politics. So the white supremacists, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, they teamed up together to flush out black people in that town. In that town at that time, to make sure black people had no power to vote, no power to get jobs, no power to live a honest lifestyle. They wanted them flushed out, and to the point where it's still happening, because they haven't had a black politician since from 1898. 90 years from 1898 is when they had their first black politician elected in Wilmington, North Carolina. So my point is that when the dominant white society wants to work together with black folks, their only mindset is white supremacy, is to make sure black people, black society is completely irrelevant, flushed out, and executed and annihilated from their existence. Point blank and simple. And you apply that same philosophy, and again, we live in a society where the dominant white society controls 9 areas of activity. So they control economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. They control all 9 areas. So you can put that same philosophy into Anthony Mackie's industry, which is entertainment. That same philosophy applies. They want to flush out or make or suppress black people in entertainment and make them powerless, make them non-existent. If you have to keep some Negroes around, you keep them Negroes around for symbolic gestures. That's it. All right. So anyway, family, those are my thoughts on that. Leave your comments down below about Anthony Mackie's statement. I mean, that's my interpretation of what he said. Leave your thoughts about it. What you think about what he said? Because like I said, he says, quote, "Are you saying that they're not good enough when you have a mostly white cast?" Right? So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section, family. Until next time, make sure you follow me on Instagram at GMOG Fitness. You already know what it is, family. Until next time, signing out. Peace.